Hey kids, this is George Washington, and today I want to talk to you about the Fairfax family. See, my story of being up here in the eastern panhandle of West Virginia actually started far from here. I used to live on the Potomac River in a place called Mount Vernon, way down below Washington, D.C. This is really going to be a story about family friends. Have you ever had a family that was really close to your family where you hung out with them all the time? It might have been, say, a friend of your mother's, or maybe even some cousins that were close friends of yours. Well, I was really close to the Fairfax family. My brother married one of their daughters, Anne, and one of their sons was my best friend. My friendship with the Fairfaxes made me really happy, and I have great memories. And it was also helpful to me and gave me opportunities when I was a young adult. The Fairfaxes lived right across the creek in a big house called Belvoir, so they were actually our next door neighbors. The Fairfaxes were very important, and they were a powerful family in England long before my time. There was a man named Thomas Fairfax who was a friend of the King of England, King Charles II. Well, King Charles was overthrown by a man named Oliver Cromwell. And Oliver Cromwell ruled the country for quite a while, and all this time, King Charles II was laying low and hiding. Well, he finally got the crown back, and Thomas Fairfax actually had supported him during all of this time. And because he supported the king, he was given a huge piece of land in America called the Northern Neck Proprietary. It's 5 million acres large. And we are right in the middle of it up here in Martinsburg, Virginia. Well, now it's time for a nap. It's time for a map. Let's see if we have a map here. Oh yeah, let me show you about this Northern Neck. So, this big white chunk in here is the Northern Neck. It's hard to tell. These are all the rivers of West Virginia and Virginia here. And why would they call it a neck? Well, whenever you had a skinny piece of land between two rivers, you would call it a neck. Don't think of a short neck like a human. Think about the long neck of a goose flying overhead. So here we have the Potomac River. This starts here, goes all the way up past Mount Vernon, past Washington, D.C., past Martinsburg, all the way up into the corner of West Virginia. And down here, the Rappahannock River comes up this way down here, comes all the way up here, and then they connected the two. So this skinny part down here is still called the Northern Neck of Virginia today. But look how large it gets as you move all the way up here into this area. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so much for the Northern Neck. Now let's look at the Fairfax family a little bit closer. So first there is Thomas over in England. Now I'm talking about the son of the Thomas that was friends with King Charles. That Thomas didn't even do anything with the Northern Neck Proprietary because it wasn't worth anything. But the Thomas that was still alive when I was a little kid, he wanted to make some money on it. So he had a cousin that lived up in Massachusetts. His name was William Fairfax. And Thomas had to figure out some way that he could manage this land all the way over from England. So he asked William if he would move down to Virginia and be his agent. Kind of like a secret agent, huh? Well, not really. Just a businessman who takes care of business for him. So William agreed to do that. He moves down to Virginia, and he built the great house Belvoir. And that's how he became our next door neighbor. So William had a bunch of children, and they became our friends. Two of them in particular. I was really good friends with George William. I know, same name as me. And then my brother was really friends with Anne so much that they fell in love and got married. Brother. Well, I know this gets confusing with all these Thomases and Georges and Williams and all these names come together. Let's look at this little chart to see if we can make it a little bit clearer. Over here we got England. Over here we have America. So in England, first we have Lord Thomas Fairfax V. That was the old guy who was friends with Charles II. Then he had his son, Lord Thomas Fairfax VI. He's the one who had the cousin over in America, William Fairfax. And then William had the one son, George William Fairfax, who was my friend. And then he had Anne Fairfax, who fell in love with Lawrence, and they got married. I hope that clears it up a little bit for you anyway. The main thing I want you to know is that about Anne and George's father is that he was really important to me. He was like a father to me all his life, and he encouraged me to do new things, and he sponsored me when I became a young adult, when I got opportunities and jobs. And all this support really mattered to me because my dad died when I was only 11 years old. And so I was sort of all on my own just with my bigger brother when the Fairfaxes came into my life. And because the Fairfax family was so important, several places today are named after them. There's a big county around Washington, D.C. called Fairfax County, and the county seat is called Fairfax City. That's where your courts are and the sheriff, just like Martinsburg is the county seat of Berkeley County. And then also in Fairfax County, down the river, the Potomac River, is the biggest army base in the U.S. It's called Fort Belvoir. There are more people working there than at the Pentagon, which is huge. And Fort Belvoir is actually built right where the House of Belvoir used to stand long ago. So I hope you enjoyed learning about my friends, the Fairfaxes. And next time we'll talk about how the Fairfaxes helped me to become a surveyor, which is something I did for most of my life. So long, and hope to see you next time.